Let's get to the money.
Let's get to the
Money.
Let's get to the
Money. Let's get to the motherfucking money.
Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in your ass, screaming fuck the bookies. Woke up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmaker's getting cooked. When I spot a dirty keg of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scary money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-Prop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get to the motherfucking.
Welcome to the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. I'm your host, Sharpie's Bets, and it's Friday, guys. This means we get to talk us the next best thing to God himself. Yep, pitching props. And it's with the only guy I talk K props with, my guy, Spin Dog Sports. How you doing, my boy?
Oh, man, it has been a really good week. So over the last, just actually adding it up, over the last week or so, over the last week, on a little 12-3 run, plus almost 9 units in a week. It's been a really good run. The only losses have been where one of them was Nestor Cortez, when I've never seen this before. The crew chief of the crew chief actually went and talked to the home plate umpire because of his erratic strike zone in the middle of the game. I've never seen that before. But yeah, it's been a really good run. And of course, I got to give a shout out, even though this is a baseball show. Y'all who know me know I'm from Minnesota. Game 7 on Sunday. Ant said we're coming back. We'll see you Sunday, Denver.
Yeah, man. Game 7. Well, we got 6 games to talk about, so let's talk about them. This show ain't sponsored by no one. We're doing this out of our own generosity, so I do appreciate those that have found their way over here. As this show is Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. On this show, we will talk the opening lines of pitching props, as well as the closing K-prop line 30 minutes prior to the show going live. Do me a favor, if you like what you're hearing, smash that like button. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button as well. First guy we're going to talk about is the guy you just talked about. Nestor Cortez versus the White Sox, striking people out this year 23.5% of the time, while walking people 5.5%. Opened them up at 6.5 minus 110 on DraftKings, where the best line available to that 6.5 is now plus 120 on FanDuel. Pitching outs 18.5 minus 185 juice to the under, whereas earned runs opened at a minus 150 to the 1.5 to the over, which is now a minus 165. Projected lineup is 7 righties, 2 lefties. Let's talk us some nasty Nestor.
All right. So we have Nestor at Yankee Stadium, which is always a good thing if you like over props. He is so much more dominant at home. I know it's still kind of a limited sample size when you do home road splits this year, but this dude has a 1.0 walk percentage at home. I know he doesn't walk many guys anyway, but I was listening to I've actually listened to the last couple of Yankees broadcasts, and they talked about how much more comfortable Nestor is with the mound and the dirt and the organization of it at Yankee Stadium. He said something about that just makes him feel so comfortable. And it really shows in his numbers when he has a 27.7% strikeout percentage at home. And again, 1.0 walk percentage. That's just crazy. Even for a guy that spends as much time in the zone as Nestor does. For the season, he does spend 53.2% of his time in the zone. That's actually significantly above MLB average at 48.6. And the big thing that I look for with guys that spend a lot of time in the zone is, what is their zone contact rate? Because when you spend that much time in there, are you trying to get the ball put in play, or are you really trying to strike guys out? And while you look at his pitch mix and it might look like he's got like 5 or 6 pitches, he's really only got 3, because he throws a 4-seamer and a cutter, which both of them are fastballs, a sinker, which is also a sinking fastball, and then he's got his sweeper, slider, and changeup. Now, Nestor gets people to miss in the zone more often than league average. So you go over and you look at the White Sox, and over the last 2 weeks, they have a contact rate inside the zone right at about league, or actually a little bit above league average at 86.8%, compared to a league average of just around 86. So the question then becomes, is that, okay, I get it where you might move a guy up a little bit going from road to home, especially where he's been so dominant. But to be moved up a whole strikeout is really, really interesting. Then you go over and you look at his projected whip. And again, I'll say it again, he's been good at home. We know that. His projected whip is 1. And in some sites, it's actually projected slightly under 1. So this would indicate that Nestor is going to go out and have himself a really good start. He's projected for 6 innings. He's hit this multiple times when he does go 6+. And the way that he did not hit last time, aside from what I just mentioned with some BS, is that he missed the strike zone. His fastballs couldn't find the strike zone. When Nestor can't throw strikes, his strikeout percentage goes drastically down from a 1-0 count versus an 0-1 count. So you take that into consideration. You go look at the White Sox. First pitch strike the last 2 weeks, 64.3%. That is above league average, and they are striking out over 30% when they do go 0-1. For this one, I want to see a lineup, and I want to see how they organize it, because with the shape that the White Sox are in as a team, if you've looked over some of their last few games, you look at their bottom of the lineup, it reminds me of the beginning of Major League, where the construction workers are looking at the newspaper being like, who are these fucking guys? And it's true. They're bringing up a lot of guys from the minors. I would expect a few of the few vets that they have left to be traded. And so I want to see a lineup for this one. But for me, this is pretty much over or nothing. I've learned that it's very, very unwise to bet against Nestor at Yankee Stadium, regardless of the opponent. He is just so dominant there, or has been so dominant there. And some of the comments that I mentioned before about how comfortable he is pitching on that mound, he can easily go 6 and get 7 to 8 Ks. So it's over or nothing for me.
And that's where get to talk about some nasty. He gets the White Sox guys who, over their last 171 plate appearances versus lefties, and that's all they've seen over the last 30 days, they're not walking, they're not striking out, while being bottom 5 in isolated power. And they give us a 6.5 on Cortez, as he's only been in a 6.5 one time this year, and he came nowhere close, as he is just averaging 5.5 strikeouts a game over his last 9. While being 5-4 to his over prop. So let's go see who they've seen in that time span. Logan Allen, not really a strikeout guy, went 6 innings of no-run ball, only had 3 punch-outs. And that's all they've seen who I would bet on, guys. So their K percentage numbers are a tad bit fraudulent, as they haven't seen a guy from the left-handed side who is averaging at least a strikeout per inning. So they jump up Cortez to a 6.5. We know there's only 2 things that we got to go look at when they do that. That's the K percentage, and then we have to look at past history. As there is some past history, as there's 4 guys in this projected lineup who've seen him at least 5 at-bats, totaling in 40, and a career K percentage near 28%. Now, they also have 2 people on the bench, guys, who has seen him a lot, which 4 people is not enough for me to be like, yeah, jump him up. It's the same K percentage versus that Valdez went and seen versus the A's the other day. Yet Valdez also had the past history of 28%, but he also had 53 fucking plate appearances on 6 batters, not just 4 batters. Granted, one of these batters is DeJong, who is a walking strikeout versus lefties, guys. He had 2 at-bats that I'm not counting. He struck out one of his. So what I'm getting to and what I kept getting over is this is the highest outs prop Cortez has ever been. And this guy's going to have action at a team not hitting lefties. He's going to have action to go 6, 7, 8 innings, 3, 4 times at the top of the lineup. And with a 28% K percentage versus 4 of those guys near the top, plus a De Jong, this guy's got overwritten all over him, guys. Now, I don't know if I can get there. There's other spots I can go look to bet today. But if they want to force my hand and put a little Maldonado in with these boys, then I will actually go bet Nasty Nate today, guys. But I get what the books are doing. They're jumping his outs up. He's got a past history. There's nothing janky in this, and it's over or nothing for me right here. You good?
Yeah. Just the only thing I would add to that is, I mentioned it before, is that when Nestor, so when you take into account Nestor at home, he gets jumped up anyway. All sorts of warning bells should be going off in your head if you're even thinking about betting the under on this one. The books know home road splits easily. They know how this guy pitches at home, and I don't think the umpire has been announced yet. Wait, actually, yes, I believe it had. Nope, no umpire yet for that game. So, honestly though, with how dominant Nestor's been at home, I don't really know if you need a fantastic umpire to get there on this one. I also say that because the White Sox overall swing rate is 48.3%, which is above league average of 47.5. So umpires, I've talked about this on this show many times, umpires only tend to matter when you have, or matter more when you have a team that takes pitches.
Man, you know who's about to wish he took a day off and he's pissed off the coach just put him in the lineup? Fucking Jock Peterson right now, bro. Well, he's like, Coach, I don't play versus lefties. What are you doing? This is Derek Skubal over there. What are you doing, bro? But yeah, they put him in the lineup today. So let's talk about the next guy on our list today, and that's Christian Scott. It's been very good to me this year, and he gets the Marlins, striking people out 28% of the time while walking people just 6% of the year. Granted, this is his third game in the bigs. Open him up 5.5 minus 120 on DraftKings, and you can get a minus 115 to that 5.5 now on FanDuel. Pitching outs juiced minus 165 to the over to the 17.5. Earn runs are at a 2.5 minus 145 juice to the under. The lineup is out now, 5 lefties, 4 righties. The only thing that we had happen in that lineup is they switched Betancourt for Fortes, and that sucks if you were looking over. Let's talk Scott.
Yeah, for all the hype, rightfully, that Skinnis and Jones are getting out in Pittsburgh, if you haven't watched this kid pitch, you need to. What I love about him is how aggressive he is. He doesn't have 100 mile an hour fastball like Skinnis does, but the thing that I liked about him, and Sharpie, I know both me and you were on him, his last start at home against the Braves over the week or last weekend, is what I like is that he just attacks hitters. He does not hold back, and he just rears back and says, if you can hit it, you can hit it, and works in and around the zone. So how does that correlate with the Marlins? The one thing that's been true of the Marlins all year is they can make chase contact even after trading a rise, because these numbers that I'm about to share with you are over the last 2 weeks, and that's obviously after he's been gone. But their chase percentage is the highest in baseball during that time frame at 37%. You go back and look at who they faced, and you can even go back further than that. Their chase percentage has been high all year. They have been in the top 5 or bottom 5, if you don't like a team that chases, of chase percentage all season. MLB average is 31.4. They're sitting at 37 right now, and they're the only team over 36.5% over the last 2 weeks. So then you go on the other side and you look at Scott, and while he does operate a lot in the zone, when he does get people to chase, he's actually been pretty good. For a kid this young, he's at a 57.6% chase contact rating, which is actually under MLB average of 57.9. He gets teams to chase above league average as well. That's very important when you're going against the Marlins, because they're going to chase anyway. And if you got a pitcher that can make guys chase above league average, I found that there is success in betting overs on the Marlins. I heard what you said about the lineup. I don't like that change very much, but the one thing that might keep me off this one is that Scott has done a really good job. I talked about how he attacks hitters and he goes after them. 71.2% zone contact, which is way under pitcher average of 82%. In fact, very, very few starters. Now, Scott doesn't have enough pitches thrown and batters faced to qualify for this, but very, very few pitchers are under 80% when you throw it in the zone. So when you think about it, like, I mean, guys are missing almost 2 out of every 5 pitches that he throws in the zone. You go over and you look at the Marlins, and the Marlins overall zone contact over the last 2 weeks, it's about the same as the White Sox. It's the exact same as the White Sox, 86.8%, slightly above league average. I don't love the over here. I don't hate the over here. Umpire was just released. It's Andy Fletcher. He is a overall neutral ump. He's got a little bit higher K boost, a little bit higher Ks than normal, but again, I'll go back to my original point from the last one from Nestor is when you have a team that chases, when you have a team that swings a lot, the umpire can tend not to matter.
Big facts. All right, guys. Tanner Scott gets the Marlins, who over the last 15 days are not walking. They're not striking out while being 12th in the league in isolated power. And when we go look at who they've seen, they cracked Walker Buehler, but I've been saying he's washed since they brought him back up, guys. I'll be the first to tell you. I just didn't have the balls to fade him versus the Marlins. Yoshi went 8 innings and had just 5 strikeouts. Is the key we used for Yoshi. Said he wouldn't go, and he didn't get it. As we look for guys who take first pitch, and that ain't this team. Gavin Stone, guys, of the Dodgers, went 7 innings, 1 run ball. Once again, only had 4 strikeouts. And then they cracked Zach Wheeler, who just went 4 innings, gave up 6 earned runs, and had 4 punch-outs. So maybe these numbers are kind of real, fellas. I wouldn't bet Stone, but the other 2 guys are top 5 in the Cy Young, and they didn't have more than 5 in a game. And now because Christian Scott has had 2 good matchups to start the year, we're not going to get a 4.5 on him, guys, and we're going to get a 5.5. And with all the action going today and how the Marlins have been, everyone's just going to skip right over this one. Now, I go check this lineup, and I see how they fare versus this pitch mix, as he's pretty much fastball slider. And I went through all 4, as he does use other pitches, so I went through all 4 that he uses and to what side he uses them from. And we've got action at the top 3 in this projected lineup, guys, with 4 guys I have for anywhere from 0.25 to a half of a strikeout. So he's going to have action at getting guys at least twice out of 3 of them. It's just, does he get them? And then I had him calculated for 5.5 strikeouts, and that was with Bethancourt. Bethancourt's out, and Fortes is a guy with a big fucking 0 across his name, as he don't whiff to a 4-seam, he don't whiff to a slider, he don't whiff to a sweeper, and he don't whiff to a split. He's only going to strike out if he takes a pitch that the fucking ball ump calls a strike, guys. At the end of the day, I thought I was going to go over on this guy, and I still think it might be an over spot. And the fact is he throws his fastball just 45% of the time. And in this lineup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys don't whiff at the fastball. You're not going to get this team with the fastball. Now, everybody but Fortes, you can get on breaking pitches. And you see some nasty numbers in some of these. Chisholm at a 52%. De La Cruz up there at 30s. There's Bells at a 48 on a split, 33 on a slider. Like, you can get these guys at the top if he does do what he has been doing. There just hasn't been enough for me in this guy. He's pitched 2 games. How do I know he's going to go out there and throw 55% breaking balls to them? Because if he does, he's getting 6 strikeouts. You've got to pitch this team backwards. They're going to swing first pitch. They're going to miss the pitches that you throw in your breaking pitches. And if you pitch them backwards, you get 6. I'm not looking under one way at all with how much other action's out there. I may leave Scott alone, but he's one of my finalists right now. And after lineups come out, I'm still going to have to just 5.5, dude. I'm going to have to fight with myself over it, guys. I'm not going under, but if he pitches them backwards, he has 7 today. Yeah.
And this is why, like I told my VIP the last couple weeks, because everybody obviously was going gaga over Skinnis and Jones and saying like, what do we do with them? What do we do here? What do we do there? And I said, because they're the darling rookies. And I said, if you want value on a rookie's line, you're looking at the wrong place. I said, the place is right out there in Citi Field in New York, because I said, while all those guys get the hype, Scott has been flying under the radar. Well, he got moved to a 5.5. He ain't flying under the fucking radar no more. Those days of 4.5, unless he's against like the Padres or like the Astros or something like that, those days of 4.5 are long gone.
Bro, if he gets 7 tonight, they're not even. I think that's a plus money down versus them.
Yep. Yeah, and so that's why with a young guy like that, if you want for a young guy that's not as hyped, if you want the best line, you got to get in early and you got to take a little gamble on the fact that maybe he pisses his pants, kind of like Leiter has done so far, or maybe he does what Scott has done and he dominates. That's the risk that you have to take. You can't wait until a guy's had 3 starts and K'd 6-7 guys, because the books watch that shit too, and I guarantee you they will adjust the line. So if you want lower lines on young guys that you think have high strikeout potential, you have to assume the risk and you have to bet them early, because
I've been on Scott both times, and they usually don't adjust until after the 3rd start. Yep. It's his 3rd start versus a team not striking out, and they're adjusting him.
And they're adjusting it. That should tell you something. They are.
He's legit.
Well, no, and in all seriousness, they know that people that study this a lot, that are sharp on this, like Sharpie and I, is that they know if they gave us a 4.5 today, I would hammer the fuck out of that thing. No lie. 5.5, I'm not sure I can get there. And I certainly wouldn't take it down and pay juice to do 5+ and all that stuff. Like it's not necessary for this guy. If he's going to hit it, he's going to hit it. I wouldn't worry about that. What I'm saying is that they know that if they put this dude at a 4.5, that sharp bettors would hammer the shit out of him, and rightfully so.
I would do like I did last week. I'll ladder it to 6. Like I'll take, like you said, 4.5, 5.5. Thank you. He's going to get both. If he gets it, it's not he's going to get one and not the other.
And it's all about where you assume your risk. Sorry, Sharpie, just one more point. It's all about where you assume your risk, right? If you're taking a plus money shot like that, you're assuming the risk that maybe it'll be a sweat at the end for the K's. If you're paying the juice, it's probably obviously a better line, but you're assuming the risk there in your wallet. It's all about where you want to assume the juice.
Yes, sir. Let's get into another guy, because it happens to be not just like Good Friday, everybody. It's like Lefty Friday. He caps everybody every day. I only cap certain pitchers, guys. I had 13 that I had to try to cap today, and good God, 7 of them were lefties. I just love lefties for some reason, guys. It's just, lefties are they're money, bro. I just love betting me some lefties. And I love betting me this lefty. He's done me good so far. Cole Ragans versus the A's, striking people out 27.5% of the time while walking people just 7.5% on the year. Late morning line, as it didn't come out to like damn near 10 o'clock Central, was 7.5 minus 125 on DraftKings. It's now at a minus 115. In between there, it did get down to a minus 105, as that's a line I'm definitely paying attention to. And his pitching outs are at an 18.5 minus 200 juice to the under, with his earned runs at a 1.5 minus 130 juice to the over. Let's talk Mr. Ragans.
All right, Mr. Ragans. I mean, it's Oakland, and they've been better. But with a line like this, I am still very, very clearly in over or nothing mode. I'm not sure if I'm there yet. But then you go and you look, and the one thing that Oakland has been doing recently, and actually for a while now, is making contact with the four-seam fastball, which Ragans does throw 39.5% of the time. But, and this is a big but, he doesn't use his fastball as a put-away pitch. It only puts hitters away, meaning that's the pitch he actually strikes them out, 22.2% of the time. And actually a healthy percentage of those are looking, not swinging. So he's not getting a ton of whiff percentage on the four-seam fastball, especially not for strike three. So you're thinking, well, what is this guy to 7.5? Well, you go and you look at his changeup, which he throws almost exclusively to righties, and he's got a 45% whiff percentage on that. And you look at the projected Oakland lineup, and you got some ugly ones in there. He also throws a knuckle curve, which by the way, on that one, the velo for it is, and the velo is the same. I think that the break on it is up this year. Yes, it is. And that has a 47.8% whiff percentage. So really with Reagan's, you don't necessarily look at the primary pitch because he's a setup guy. So he's going to use his cutter. He's going to use his four-seamer to get strikes, and then he's going to use the breaking pitches to put them away. You go and look at swing metrics, and you see, as I mentioned before, the Athletics have the Oakland A's, and I'm not making this up. The Oakland A's are actually 3% under league average for chasing over the last 2 weeks. Now, when they do chase, their contact is still bad. It's 58.6 compared to a league average of 63.2. So then if you're gonna pair that with Reagan's, he does get guys to chase slightly above league average. This is where I talked about when you get early strikes with a four-seamer or with a cutter, then you can set up those breaking pitches to get guys to chase. Reagan's has a very, very, very good chase contact percentage. League average for pitchers is 57.9. He's all the way down at 52.8 with that curve and with the changeup. That also what plays a factor into his 31.1% whiff percentage. So when I look at this one, I also see that we have a friendly umpire for an over here with Gabe Morales. He's got a 22.6% K percentage, which is above umpire average. Nice solid K boost, and his zone, it can be very conducive for where Reagan's throws the ball. More specifically, his changeup, which actually runs high in the 10 to 12 range, and then his slider, which goes low, and his curve, which go low in the 4 to 6 range. So for this one, I want to see I want to see a final lineup, and I want to run the final lineup through a few final checkout things that I have. But I gotta be totally honest with you, I'm looking up and away here.
I'm trying to get up and away on this fucking pit over here, bro. But Raggins, guys, gets the A's, who over their last 200 plate appearances versus lefties are walking a putrid 5% of the time, while striking out 23.5% with a top 5 isolated power. So I go look who they've seen over that time span. Nestor Cortez went 7 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, only struck out 4. And Fram Diesel, who, like we talked about last show, the book said he was going to hit it, and he went 7 innings and had 8 strikeouts. Now, the other guys that they have seen, guys, are middle of the pack to end of the rotation guys. Is yes, they lit up Trevor Rogers, who I tried to bet on, and he sucks. And Ryan Weathers, he got 5-5. Now, there is not much past history, guys, as he's seen them last year, and he had 11 punch-outs and 6 innings of no-run ball, as they were striking out 25.5% of their at-bats then. Yet the only one in this projected lineup who's even seen him more than 3 at-bats is Langers, and he struck out 4 of his 7 at-bats. Now, the A's are projecting 9 right-handed bats, which is a good thing for Raggins, as unlike most aces, he has an issue striking out his own side of the plate, as his career K percentage versus lefties is 22.5% compared to 26.5% versus the right-handed side. Now, when we look at Raggins' pitch mix, he is fastball, cutter, changeup, while he sprinkles in the slider and the curve 10% each. Now, when I run the lineup, like most A's lineup, they don't struggle versus the four seam like my guy was just talking about. They struggle versus the cutter and all his breaking pitches. And my thing about running a K prop versus any team who struggles versus breaking pitches and not a fastball is he an ace. As aces will get us to 2 strikes, guys. They'll get us to that 2-strike count where he could go do his damage. And let me talk to you guys. Cole Raggins is a fucking ace. As who did what he did to the Blue Jays, guys? The first game was a rained out one, and he still went 5 solid innings, 5 strikeouts. I don't think he allowed a run. If he did, it was 1. Then he came back and 9-pieced them on a back-to-back, guys. Like, the Blue Jays smash lefties. The Blue Jays are fucking don't strike out the lefties. Cole Raggins then showed me something right there in that game. Now, his problem has been teams who make contact when they chase. A la go look at the Orioles and the Astros, where yes, in one game versus the Orioles, he got 7, the other only 4. And in the Astros game, I believe he got 5 in that game, but nothing more than 5. Chase contact has been his detrimental, has been the problem. When he's ran into the 2 teams that have had that they're technically 6th and 7th in chase contact, they're not even bottom 5. That was the Milwaukee Brewers and the Minnesota Twins. He had 8 and 9 strikeouts, respectively. The Oakland A's are the worst team in baseball, guys, when it comes to chase contact. And when I look at this projected lineup, we've got 7 of the 9 projected are terrible at making contact when they chase. Give me the over 7.5 if this is the lineup that they're going to give me. Please give me all 9 righties that you are projecting. Keep every lefty you got on the gosh damn bench today. And if you want to give Toro a day off, I won't complain. But, you know, it is what it is. But I haven't bet it yet. I will tweet it once it comes out. Waiting for the lineup. As of always, guys, you've got to pay attention to lineups, especially if you're betting high numbers, especially if you're betting period, any number, guys. These books aren't dumb. And if I got to pay an extra 20 cents on something that I think is going to catch anyways, I'll wait. It's worth it because there's sometimes where I want to run and I can't. So what it is. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I'll tell you straight up. I have actually lost way more getting in early at a slightly lower number than I have waiting for the lineup and then just sucking up a little bit of extra juice. And, you know, I said this very early in my career doing this, when people would ask me about that method, I said, do you pay juice when you win? Yeah, I didn't think so. They
just came out with the lineup.
It's
got Blade in it. Somebody's out of it. I got to figure out who.
Is Rooker in?
They took Ruiz out.
But Rooker's in, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
they took Ruiz is out for Blade. Blade's in the 2-hole. Blade's a lefty, ain't he?
JJ? Blade?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
He's a pesky lefty sometimes. All right.
Yeah. So Toro switch hitter, Blade lefty, Rooker righty,
the rest is gonna be righties.
Yeah, and then everybody else righty.
Yeah.
So he's gonna face lefty, and then righties all the way down.
Nah, righty lefties. Toro will bat from the right-handed side today.
Oh yeah, he will. Oh yeah. I had it backwards. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. No worries, bro. I know you're not dumb. I wasn't trying to correct you.
No, you're good.
On to the next guy, which is a guy that is on my bubble, and depending on lineups, I kind of want the over. And we're talking Freddie Peralta versus the Astros, striking people out 32% of the time while walking people 9.5% on the year. Opening line was 6.5 plus 120 on DraftKings, and that's the same exact line and the same exact place where it's at. His pitching outs are 17.5 minus 120 juice to the under, whereas earned runs are at a 2.5 minus 160 juice to the under as well. Projected lineup is 5 righties, 4 lefties. Let's talk Freddie P versus the Astros.
All right. So you see the Astros and you see a big number and your immediate thought would be to the under, right? Well, I think that the books know that, and that's why the line is partially set where it is. It's to encourage you to bet the under on this one. And I am 100% with Sharpie on this one, and here's why. Big discrepancy that we can potentially take advantage of with the right lineup. I talked about how much the Marlins chase. Well, the Astros ain't too far behind them. They're at 35.7% over the last 2 weeks compared to a 31.4% chase percentage. And that is actually maintained for most of the season. You normally under Dusty, and in past years, you would see the Astros would make a lot of contact, but they would also be a big-time take team. That's not who they are this year, guys. Their swing percentage is 49.8, which is above 47.5 league average. They are swinging a lot. Now, excuse me, they do make contact when they swing, which would make sense when you have guys like Altuve and Bregman and some of their higher contact guys. That makes sense. But they're swinging a lot more. They're chasing a lot more. Well, why is that important? Well, you go over to Freddie Peralta, and you see that when Peralta gets in trouble, it's when he walks guys. It's when he's wild, when he's out of the zone, and teams don't swing. More specifically, and this is more observational for me, it's when he's out of the zone and teams aren't swinging and he doesn't adjust. I've seen this happen so many times with this guy, where you have a patient team who's going to grind out at bats, who's going to wait on pitches. And Freddie just keeps trying to paint corners and trying to go outside the zone. And it's like, they're not fucking swinging. You have to throw something different. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't have to worry about that statistically with the Astros because of their chase percentage. So Freddie spends 45% of his time in the zone, which is under average, which is under MLB or pitcher average. But the big thing here, MLB pitcher average for allowing chase contact is 57.9%. Freddie, 45.8, which is the second best mark of his career, and it's generated a 33.6% whiff percentage, which is almost 10% above MLB average. Now, I do want to see a lineup on this one. I see Loperfido is projected to be in. I would like that. I would really like if Cabbage was in there too, because both of those guys can just chase like crazy and can miss. There's also a few other guys at the bottom of the lineup that can chase and miss. I mean, honestly, even Altuve's chase contact percentage is down this year. Not saying that he's going to like a candidate for a high strikeout, but what I'm saying is when you got guys that chase this much and you have a pitcher that is just continually unafraid to work outside the zone and try to catch up with his fastball if he does get behind, it can lead to a lot of strikeouts. Over is the only place I'm looking here. I have not fully decided. I also want to see an umpire because that hasn't been announced yet. So if we can get even a slightly generous umpire, please, this has all of the right ingredients for a surprising over.
Yeah, the more and more I keep looking at Raggins, I'm about to pull this trigger, but I'm seeing it coming down a little bit, bro. So I don't want to get greedy, bro. Minus 105 looks really fucking good, man. Yeah, the Mets are also another team that fucking don't make contacts when they chase, and he had 8 versus them. So it's like, yeah, I don't think chase is his thing because there's plenty of teams that the Milwaukee's the best team in the league at not chasing. They're not good at making contact though when they chase. And look what they did there. So let me talk a little Freddie Peralta. I'm probably going to go bet fucking Raggins after that, and then I'll let you know when I bet him. Don't fucking move his line on me, you fuckers. Freddie Peralta against the Astros over the last 15 days. They're not walking. They're not striking out while being bottom 6 in the league in isolated power. Is when I look at who they see. Tristan McKenzie went 7 innings, 6 punch-outs. Kirby went 6 innings, had 3 punch-outs. Logan Gilbert went 8 innings, had 6 punch-outs. And fuck you, Bryce Miller went 6 innings and had 3 punch-outs.
I was on him.
I may have been on him that day.
I was on him too.
So they've actually seen some guys like, and none of them are getting more than 6 strikeouts, yet all of them win at least 6 innings. And that may be the way to bet Peralta today. Yep, exactly what my guy was just talking about. This guy can pitch himself out of a game by, man, wow thing. Just play that shit when Freddie P walks out there, guys, because you don't know who you're going to get sometimes. Granted, all of his analytics this year are through the roof. They're the best of his life. It's his second year back from injury, and he has looked the fucking part. Kind of funny how it's a 6.5, and it's still the same exact. And people actually bet these minus 160s and stuff out there like that, guys. They like these big money people bet that. And they're looking through this whole year, looking through the last 15, and they're like, nobody's gotten more than 6. And they face some studs. So they're getting under money, and they're refusing to drop it to a 5.5, guys. They're just like, nope. And I get it, guys. 6 guys in this projected lineup are worse than league average when it comes to chase. You don't want to chase versus Freddie P, guys. I grant it, 5 guys are actually bad at making contact when they chase, so I would like to see a few guys in there. And I've only got 3 guys that can be tough. Well, 2 that won't strike out probably, and 1 that's going to be tough. If I can get Diaz, Altuve, or Bregman out the fucking game today, or you want to be dumb and put Bregman in the 7 hole, I'm going to look to play this guy's over today, guys, as this team isn't patient. They're not walking. And if you're not going to walk versus Freddie Peralta and you're going to chase versus Freddie Peralta, you're walking into what this guy wants you to do, bro. Like, you need to be patient to get to Freddie Peralta. It just is what it is. They're not being patient. Like he said, lineups pending. It's not just who they put in. I want to see how they construct it too, guys. Is Bregman back in the top? Because Bregman, Diaz, and Altuve are the ones I'm afraid of right now. Granted, you can get Altuve, but by the numbers, those are the three I'm afraid of. And I don't want to see those three in the top 5 if I'm on an over, guys. It just is what it is. It may be one of those ones that I just got to let go, as I could see the under or the over happening. And the lean is the over right now until lineups come out.
Yep. You were talking about guys. So I talked about the team chase percentage for the Astros. You go and you look at the projected lineup, and 5 of the 9 guys have a chase percentage above that league average of 31.4 that I just mentioned earlier. Not only that, is that several of the guys, Loperfido, Pena, Yanni, all of those guys have a chase percentage of 35 or worse, 35 or higher, I guess. And even Altuve, I talked about Altuve. Jose Altuve chases at 34.4%, and that is up from his previous seasons. They also only have guys that are, we also only have 2 guys that are, I guess Bregman's kind of, 2 guys that are significantly under league average in chase percentage that try to grind out at bats. Those 2 being Singleton and Kyle Tucker. Tucker's probably going to bat in the 2 hole. Singleton is projected to be in the lineup. I would assume that he would be in, but if you only give me 2 guys that are significantly under league average in chase percentage, and you give me 5 that are over, I will tell you that even if he doesn't hit it, the ingredients are right for him to come awful damn close.
All right. If you heard that, that I put my phone up next, that was DraftKings saying, here's your 6-digit PIN code. Yeah, I bet the fucking shit that I'm fucking motherfucking son of a bitch. Give me 1 second, guys, while I put it in. All right. And it's in there. All right, I'm on Cole Ragan, 7.5 minus 105 on DraftKings. Get in where you fit in, and let's talk us some James Paxton versus the Reds, striking people out at a 13.5% clip while walking people 15% of the time. Those are his real numbers, fellas. He's got a higher walk percentage than strikeout percentage. And they're going to give us a morning line of a 5.5 of plus 126. Now the best line available is a 4.5 at a minus 166, but it's pretty much 5.5 plus 130 on DraftKings and other places, because who's betting minus 166 is. Pitching props, guys, 16.5 minus 130 juice to the under, whereas earned runs are at a minus 145 juice to the under. And another thing that I don't talk about, but his walks are 2.5 juiced, hella juice to the under, which means he's not walking 3 today pretty much, guys. That's the way I take it when I look at that line. Let's talk us some James Paxton.
Yep. So there are some guys and some bets where I decide that, you know what, like I'm going to go big balls on this one. And then there's other ones where I run like a bitch, and I'm going to run like a bitch from this one. I can't get there with Paxton. I really can't. There's no chance in hell I'm paying minus 160, minus 170 for an under, nor should you. And if I've said this a million times, and I'll stand on this forever, is that if you have a capper or somebody else you listen to that tells you to bet minus 170 on the regular, you should dump him, block him, and find a new one, because that is not a way to make money, period. Nobody will convince me otherwise, because I can mathematically prove it. Now, on to Paxton. Whiff percentage, 11th percentile, walk percentage, obviously in the 6th percentile, because he fucking walks everybody. And even though the Reds do have the potential to strike out a lot, over the last 30 days against righties, they are walking at a 10.5% clip. You go and you look at their swing metrics, and for a team that actually strikes out as much as they do, their swing metrics, especially outside the zone, they're not that bad. they're really not that bad. 28.7% chase percentage, which is a healthy amount under league average. And actually, league leader in chase percentage is the Nationals during that time at 27.9. So they're not too far behind the league leader, and they're well below league average. So when you give me those two things combined, when you give me a guy that can be this wild and can walk people, and you give me a team that chases this far below league average, I know the line got bumped up. And if I miss out on some nice plus money on the over, I will say God bless and salute to those of you that bet it. But my nuts are going to shrink up on this one.
Oh, I was all on mute right there. I was all shrinkity dinkity. That's what happens when you sit over here and chief on this.
It's going to shrink. My nuts are tiny on this one. I'm out.
I'm trying to figure it out myself. No bullshit. So, Paxton gets the Reds, guys, who over the last 200 plate appearances, they're walking 9% of the time. They're only striking out 21% of their at-bats, while being the worst team in baseball in isolated power. And when we go check on see who they've actually seen in that time span, they haven't seen many guys I'd look to go bet on, as Jordan Montgomery seen them on a back-to-back, went 7 innings with 2 punch-outs and followed it up with 5.1 innings and had 7 punch-outs. And Kyle Harrison, who had 5 strikeouts in 5 innings, yet he walked 5 that day. The old 5-5-5. And, not really much to take from these numbers, guys, except they're just not hitting lefties, period. As they are the worst team in the league when it comes to lefties, and they ain't seen that many people that I'd even bet on. And I'm talking isolated power, hitting, not striking out. Worst team in the league. And one thing I picked up, guys, on listening to the Dodger game last night is they mentioned it. The Dodgers announcers mentioned it, talking about the Arizona announcers the night before because they were listening to the game. Obviously, scooping up some info on their announcers. Kind of smart, those Dodgers announcers. But they talked about how these Reds are attacking first, second, third pitch. They're swinging out their fucking shoes right now, guys. They are looking to swing for damage. They're not looking to just poke the ball. And they're either going to fucking get you or they're not. And there's going to be a whole lot of strikeouts when you're swinging for power, guys. And I'll tell you what, those announcers are going to go talk to the players. These guys talk to each other, at least in our organization. They do. If they see something, they're going to say something. And yeah, let's get in a little more to it. So why the fuck did we get a 5.5, guys? Why? I mean, the guy's only had 5 strikeout. He's only had a 6 strikeout. He hasn't had a 6 strikeout game. None. 0. 1 game with just 5 strikeouts. Averaging 3.14 strikeouts a game. He's averaging pi per strikeouts a game. Terrible. And we get a fucking 5.5? Come on, man. We know, and they're striking out 21% of their at-bats? What do they see? Let's go look at past history, guys. And for me, I can't take 1 fucking game as past history. I can't. I don't think the books do, as they're not looking at the 2 games where it says Harrison didn't strike out the Rockies. They're not taking that much small amount of at-bats into that fucking one. And I know they use past history. He has a whopping 10 at-bats in this projected lineup. I don't give a fuck if he struck out half of them. That's not the only reason to put it a 5.5. Okay, a 4.5 if you want juiced. He's hit 5 1 fucking time. Nah, guys. If they give me the lineup I'm looking for, which is De La Cruz near the top, and throw in a little bit of Mally if you like, I'm going fucking over, guys. And it's
love it. I love it.
No, yeah. No, the books want you to go under. Nah, guys. If this dude doesn't walk 3 people, he strikes out fucking 6 tonight. And the books are saying he's not walking 3. So I'm just telling you, give me De La Cruz, who has struck out 40% of his bats since entering the big leagues, going back to last year and this year, to every left-handed pitcher, guys. So, I'll be looking at Paxton's over. It's plus money, and I really think it's going to go down to a 4.5 at bettable, or it's going to go to a stay at the 5.5 at plus, all depending on who they put in, guys. And I don't mind paying the juice for it. I might just split it up If it does get to minus 150, I'll tweet out how I attack it, as I don't like really betting minus 150s on guys who ain't gotten that yet, but I will split up like 1.25 of it and put $75 on a fucking on the 4.5 and put the rest on the plus money, because I think this is a spot. If he gets 5, he gets 6, guys. And the books are telling us he gets 6. It's let me see the lineup. Let me look at their breaking pitches, at how he does it. And Mr. Wild Thing himself is getting a team that's swinging at every fucking pitch. Please whiff to his breaking pitches, because I really think he's going to come in, seeing what happened to Glasnow last night. They're going to mention what happened over the Arizona series, and they're going to be like, this team is attacking. All right, cool. Breaking balls first pitch. This whole fucking game, then. Let's play them backwards, then. Dodgers ain't dumb, and definitely will be looking at Paxton's over when 10 at-bats ain't enough to jump it up. Nah. Do you think 10 at-bats is worth jumping it up?
No, just like my rule of thumb that I use when I want to even consider it and factor it into the numbers, 30 is my minimum, and then it depends on when those 30 were, or like who those 30 were. So like, for example, if it's 30 and it's like 6 across 5 guys, to me, that's usable. But if it's like one guy has seen him 28 times and 2 guys have seen him once, it's not worth it. It's not worth shit, because then what you do is you just adjust that one guy based on what the percentage is, and everybody else, you just assume even. Everything else is even. So I only use past history when I have multiple guys with at least 5+, and I also have when the pitcher has faced the team at least 30 times. That's my minimum.
Yeah, Abel, plus 115 to the over means minus 150 to the under. And if a book shows me a minus 150 to a guy who's walking everybody and their mom 3 games or more to the under, that tells me, bro, that he ain't walking 3 today. So,
Nope.
Yeah, I'm just telling you the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Is it right all the time? No, but it sure fucking is most of the time.
Yeah, and to add on to that, because Abel, thank you for bringing this up, because it actually brings up a really, really, really good point. Is that with plays like that, I always looked at it too, where the books are saying, yeah, we don't think he's going to hit it, but we're going to price it. We're going to price it so you can get in, and it's going to cost you. The minus 145 to minus 160-ish lines are the ones where it's like, it's not like a ton of juice. It's just a little bit too much. And those are the ones that can actually trap people. So not saying it doesn't happen, not saying it's a bad bet. Just saying, just be careful with those, because the minus 140 to minus 160 lines are where the are always where the books trap people, because you start getting up minus 200, minus 205, whatever it is. Like even casual bettors are like, oh shit, that's like a lot. Like I ain't playing that. But then you get in that minus 130, minus 140 range. Just psychologically, you get a lot of casual bettors that are like minus 155, somewhere in that range. It's like, I can live with it because it seems like a good bet. I can live with it. And then you get trapped by it. And the books aren't dumb. They know how often people bet minus 150, minus 155, minus 160. They know exactly how often that happens, guys. And so it's priced accordingly. And again, I'm not saying it's not going to hit. And the books aren't even saying that it's not going to hit either. All they're saying is, if you want that, then you're going to have to pay up for it. So anyways, I just the psychology of it is I'm always ultra careful when it comes to minus 140-ish to minus 165 lines. Oh, Sharpie, you're on mute if you're talking.
Yeah. I try to figure out ways to get them down, because I do got a good win percentage at that, but it's like, that's 1.5 bets the way we bet. We don't bet to win 100. That fucking hurts, man. That's a kick in the nuts, losing $150 to win $100. Yeah. Let's talk about the last guy on the board, which is I don't bet guys because they owe me money, but I'm looking to bet this guy, and he kind of fucking owes me some money. So, Kyle Harrison versus the Rockies, striking people out 21.5% on the year, while walking people just 8% of the time. Open them up 5.5 minus 110 on DraftKings, where now it's at a minus 105 on DK. Pitching outs to 17.5 minus 120 each way, whereas earned runs are at a 2.5 minus 165 juice to the under. The projected lineup is 7 righties and 2 lefties. Let's finish up with Harrison versus the Rockies.
All right. Well, the Rockies, for those of you that follow me and have watched me on the show, you know I have no under island. And the Rockies and the Mariners are the only 2 teams that are on that island right now. The Twins have played them, have swung their way off of it. Oakland, in most cases, has swung their way off of it. So really, you are left with Colorado and Seattle. So I'm only going to talk about the over here because the under for a Colorado team, I've said it before. I don't give a fuck if it's a AA pitcher. I'm not taking the under. Pure and simple. So now I go and look and I see that the Rockies are going to run 7 right-handed batters, or projected to run 7 right-handed batters. Harrison only 17.2% against those. But then I go look at the Rockies as well. And the thing that makes the Rockies firmly entrenched on my no under island is 2 things. Number 1 is the percentage of time that they chase, 36.5% of the time over the last 2 weeks. It's been close to league worst all season. Their overall chase contact percentage has been league worst all season, not even close. They're at 58.5% compared to a league average of 63.2. What this leads to is they have a very high swinging strike rate of 13.5, which is no, I'm sorry. Last 2 weeks, it is worse. I was going to say, is it third worst? No, it's worse in baseball. So you chase a lot. You don't make contact when you chase. You strike out. I mean, basic analytics 101. It's actually not even analytics. It's just common sense 101. Now, you go and you look at Mr. Harrison. And Harrison actually has a below average chase rate, 26.3%. Pitcher average is 28.4. He has people making contact above average at 60.8 compared to league average of 57.9. So whenever that happens and he's playing a team like the Rockies, what I like doing is I like going and seeing, okay, his numbers aren't where I'd want to see them, but who has he pitched against? Well, obviously he pitched against the Rockies because he only had 2, but that was out in Coors. And I'm not going to bore you guys with a physics lesson, but I can tell you that a few of his pitches don't play as well at Coors because of for those of you that follow me, you know that I've talked about Magnus force before, Mangus, not Magnus, Mangus force, which is air molecules building up behind a ball because of how fast you throw it and pushing it in the direction that you spin it. Not going to have that tonight because he's obviously at home. So when I'm looking at Harrison, can I get there for the over? I'm going to need to see a lineup. I'm pretty sure Blackman will be in. It would be really nice if he was out.
They've been sitting him versus lefties, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I keep.
I've seen it versus guys. He's batting 500 with 12 at bats, and he ain't in the lineup
because he's the one guy. He's the one guy that can give you 3 plate appearances where he won't strike out and he'll grind out like 15 pitches, and he'll just shave 15 pitches off of your total, which for Harrison would be not very ideal since he's over his last 5 starts, he's only thrown about 85 to 86 pitches on average. So I'm going to want to see a lineup, but like it always is the case for me with the Rockies, same way that it is with the Mariners. It's over or it's a pass, period. There's no in between for me.
Yeah, guys, Harrison gets the Rockies, who over the last 200 plate appearances versus lefties, they're not walking while striking out at a 25.5% clip, and they're middle of the pack isolated powers as their numbers go back a whole month, but at least we got 200 plate appearances. Who have they seen? Christopher Sanchito. He had himself 10 strikeouts in 6 innings. Framer Valdez had 6 and 5 innings of work in the altitude of Mexico City. And then the other guy they seen that I would bet on is obviously Kyle Harrison, whose first start in the Rockies decided to pitch to contact on my fucking dollar and go 7 innings with just 2 strikeouts. As guys, there was 20-mile-per-hour winds left to right, and I guess he figured out through the game, like, dude, They're not going to hit the ball out if I just throw it down the fucking middle of the plate. And that's what he did on me. But end of the day, we're back and it's a new game. And it's technically a back-to-back, guys, as it is in a 15-day period, and that's the way I look. And if you go under, I could look over, and if you go over, I could look under, and the fucker got 2. So I could look to go over, right? Or am I just going to have to just run my head into the wall with Colorado and Harrison and get kicked square in the nuts again, guys? But at the end of the day, we get a guy who, like you said, he's dominating lefties when it comes to strikeouts, yet he's only had a 17% K percentage versus the right-handed side. Well, now through his career, he's had a 23% K percentage versus righties and just a 21.5 versus lefties. So I'm not too worried about that, guys, as I do expect it to come back to life. As he is 2-1 to the over this year when the matchup called for it. And 2-0 if you take out the game where you're not supposed to bet a guy in his first game in the Rockies, even though Sharpie didn't listen. So you can make a freaking excuse for that one, guys. He's faced some really, really tough teams that just don't strike out to lefties today. And when we go look at this pitch mix, it's fastball, changeup, slurve, as he only uses his changeup to righties. So he's pretty much fastball, slurve to lefties, fastball, changeup, slurve to the right-handed side. He just talked about 7 righties, 2 lefties. And when we run through this lineup, God, man, please hit Blackman. Like you said, he's the one guy. I have 2 who probably can't strike out, as in Blackman and Rogers. And everybody else is a free-falling, spirited animal, guys, that just flailed to this guy's pitch mix. We have 6 guys who can be put away with every pitch he throws. And it's a 5.5. Like, at the end of the day, you give me this lineup, I'm going over, even with Blackman. You take out Blackman, I'll feel a little better. Is what it is. I've got to ride it. Now, if it doesn't hit, fuck, man. Sharpie might need to stop betting Harrison. But we are 2-1 this year betting Harrison. And I would have been 2-0 if I would have listened to the rule that I've made for myself. So, is what it is. I like this pitch mix versus this lineup. And, yeah. Sit Blackman, por favor. Anything else?
Yeah, actually, I've talked about just one side note on Blackman is, so he's 38 years old. He's on the last year of his contract. And I mean, I would imagine that he's probably doesn't have many more years left in MLB. And I'm really hoping that he gets traded, and not because not for anything like because the Rockies are shit, but more because it's like this dude has given you everything for however many years, and he's had 2 playoff appearances to show for it. Like, this dude has given your organization a lot. I think that that even at 38, a high contact, highly intelligent guy like him could make a lot of difference in the playoffs for a contending team from the left side of the plate. I really, really hope to see him get traded to a contender. I really hope to see him get traded to a contender where he could get some at bats in a postseason and kind of send his career off on a high note. I mean, he's going to be a 2-month rental. So you rent the guy for 2 months, and if they really want, like, he can just sign a 1-year farewell tour deal with the team this year. So I don't know if that'll happen or if he'll just play out his contract there. But I'm really, really hoping that Charlie gets a chance to play some postseason baseball at this stage in his career, because if he stays in Colorado, he'll be like damn near 50 before they would ever have a chance of doing that. And obviously he'd be retired.
I think I'm going to do it, Chris. I think I'm taking Peralta.
Yeah, I hear you.
They sat down your daddy and put in Caratini. Caratini sucks versus the slider. The bottom 3, Myers, Caratini, Luperfido.
Luperfido's 9, right? And
yeah, but it's like those are the bottom 3.
But he doesn't need to be.
Pena's in the 2-hole. Oh, I only got 3 guys now that are freaking. They took out fucking Alvarez. I've only got 3 guys that are elite at making contact when they. Oh yeah, I'll tweet it out, guys, because
I know what they're doing. Yep. Hey, this is actually a really, really good example of, you see the line and you see it like that against Houston. It's kind of like Reagan's line. It's kind of like a few other lines where you see it. You see Nestor's line. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And so rather than take the side where it looks like, based on, trends and averages and whatever, where it looks quote unquote obvious, take a closer look at the other side, because that's the side that the books don't want you to be on in most cases. And for those of you who might not have heard this before from us, if you see a line like that and you think, oh, the books fucked up on this line. Nope, they didn't. They're hoping you fuck up by betting the side that they want.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit more work, but that's what we do. And yeah, appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Smash that fucking like button if you haven't. If you're new to this channel, subscribe as well. I will tweet out my other action, as I do got a job to go to tonight, and I know my guys got some business meetings. So let these fine people know what you got going on, where they can find you, and about the hottest fucking play going on the internet right now.
Tout prop, man, 15-4 on the year. Had a 9-play win streak earlier in the year, on a 3-1-3 play win streak now. But yeah, 15-4 on the year, 63% lifetime, and up over almost 70 units now. So I will have one of those tonight. That will be coming, full detail, full whiff percentage, K percentage. Y'all that follow me know that I always show my work. I'm not just going to give out anything. So that will be coming. I just need to finalize a few things, because my finalists, I had 11 finalists to start with. I'm down to 7 now. I have one that I already have in, and I usually have between 3 and 4, and this might be a 5-play night. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to buckle into 3. I might
know,
end up with 2, but we'll see
know.
how it goes. I'm just so fucking pissed. When I go back and look at the end this month, I have 3 losing days. And if I look at the K props, bro, it's just like, dude, why am I betting other shit, bro? Because I'm losing them every time I bet a fucking total, an outs prop. You ain't gonna hear an outs prop or a total come out my mouth for a fucking month at least, fellas. All right? All right. Just understand that. I had that talk with myself. I'm looking at my shit like, dude, what are you fucking giving money back for, bro? Because you think? You do fucking work, and you fucking know. That's what you bet is what you know. So, yes, sir. At the end of the day, guys, fucking stay solid, stay hot. If you fucking getting a little fucking slump, go do yourself a big fat girl, or go to church. Either which way works for you. But yeah, until next time, take care, all that good shit, and bye-bye.